obtain freedom from fear?
Freedom from fear. What kind of fear are you talking of?
Existential fear.
Existential fear. It's funny. I remember a long time ago my master saying that there was sometimes a fear that had no reason that would arise in people. And it's almost like that fear is the last resort of the mind to stop you fully opening up and letting go to what already is. So it's like you have a fear and it says, can't you feel this fear? You go, I can, yeah. Now you come to mention it, yes, I can feel it. It's very existential. And it goes, well, and you go, but what am I frightened of? Don't worry about that. Just worry about the fact you're frightened. Stop. Whatever you're doing, stop. You know, whatever you're inquiring into, stop. Don't go a step further till you've sorted out the fear with no name. The thing is, though, that fear is simply a ploy to keep your attention, to stop you relaxing into what truly is. Because the truth is, and this is what all the saints have said, all the mystics, all those people, all the ordinary people who've gone into the realm of the heart, who've come into full presence, who are here now whenever they were, they're there. And that they said is that in that realm there is no fear. What you see is that there's actually no call for fear at all. Because you're out of the world of drama. Nothing happens there. In presence, the one who's present, nothing happens to that one. It doesn't grow old, it doesn't get sick, it doesn't wake up, it doesn't fall asleep. It's just what it is. So there's no question of fear in that realm. Fear is always in the drama of life. Now there is a fear that promotes adrenaline rushes, which is, you know, flight and fight and whatever. We're not talking about that fear. We're talking about existential fear. Fear of what we don't know. What if, goes the mind, you're wrong. You don't know everything you know. There may be stuff that you haven't considered. Putting in doubt and fear. Because it knows that if you really release yourself into this beautiful presence, the true I am that you really have always been and are, then your relationship with this chattering thing will change. You will now start to get it under manners, and it will be your servant and even your friend, but no longer the one who's trying to take over the show, because you've undermined it. You've seen the truth beneath it and through it. You've seen what it's made of. So, you know, have no fear. What's the antidote to fear?
Love.
Love is a good antidote to fear. But also, sometimes fear stimulates courage. You know, feel the fear, but somehow do it anyway. You know, and sometimes that fear can be your friend in the sense that it kind of it puts you in a position where you have to call forth what you don't know about you, your courage. No one knows that they're courageous. The fact that you were courageous last time doesn't mean you're going to be courageous this time. You know, because courage only surfaces in the moment that it's needed. It's not something that you carry along with you. But you have to have some trust that when the masters have said you came with everything you're going to need, you've got the courage to conquer the fear. You've got the concentration, you've got the focus, you've got the will, you've got the love, you've got the grace, you've got everything you need to do this. How cruel would it be to take a human life, to know that truth is there, to know that heaven exists on earth, but unfortunately no. No, you didn't know, I don't know why, but the software's missing in you. Yeah, no, you're not going to be able to understand it, you won't be able to realise it, it's just not for you. That would be really cruel. But life isn't cruel. You know, there may be cruelty within the drama of life, but life itself is not cruel, it's loving. That the tendency is towards love. People say, oh, it's kind of neutral. It's not. Not in my experience. There's definitely a benign motivation in the workings of me and this experience of life. Definitely, it's benign. You know, kind, loving, encouraging. That's how life has come to me. Non-judging. I've never been judged by life. So there is fear that arises, but it will go. It comes and it goes. And we don't really have to go in there and find out what it's all about and why and undo it. Just like with our doubts. That kind of fear and doubt are very similar. You don't have to go through all your doubts one by one. Well, what about this? You know, what if this? And you wade through that and it takes forever. All you have to do is realise that there's a place in the mind, a room where doubt is. And if you go in there, you will find doubt. About one thing or another, about you and your capacities, about it, about life, about the whole thing. There'll be doubts there. You solve one, and immediately another one springs up in that room. The only thing you can do is leave that room. Recognise what that is. That isn't how you become enlightened, liberated, informed by chasing down all your doubts. There's an inquiry you can make, but that isn't motivated out of doubt. That's like motivated out of wonder. Wow, who am I then? I definitely am, because I'm asking, I'm here. Who am I? Who's the one that feels the fear? Who's the one that witnesses the fear when it's there? Is that one frightened? No. Wow, so it doesn't actually matter if I am frightened, if I feel fear. Because the one that's perceiving the feeling of the fear is not frightened. Oh look, the colour of my mood is fearful. It could be followed by a wonder why, but doesn't have to. It's just how it is. But the distinction is that I am free from that. I'm not the emotions that I feel. They are clouds that pass through my sky. I am the sky. Remember, I am the sky. I am the sky like awareness. I don't change. Nothing upsets the sky. It doesn't shrink, it doesn't expand, it doesn't come, it doesn't go, but everything happens in it. And by being it, just letting yourself be that sky-like awareness, there is the liberation. That's so simple, so beautiful. So we have to close the door on doubt. You know, it's not by sorting out the doubts that we become clear. Clarity is being present. Clarity is always there. Absolutely shimmering, shining clarity is always there. Clarity is when you are present to simply what is. And that what is there in every moment. So when we put down everything, what remains is shimmering clarity. It's not like me and clarity. I am clarity. It's not like me and knowledge. I am knowledge. It's not like me and awareness. I am awareness. That's what when everything else is dissolved, all that's left is that. And that I am. And then the questioning is over. There's no one left asking questions. Who are you then? Who are you? It's gone. And then we flow as awareness through this beautiful life. And miracles can happen, because then our mind isn't constraining what's possible anymore. What's possible for us, given who we thought we were, that's gone. We're now flowing as awareness, and the possibilities of what can actually transform and happen in this life become huge. And this perhaps is where, if the drama on the planet is going to transform, it's going to be because people realize themselves as awareness, and consequently they are then in a position to invent possibilities for something extraordinary to happen. Because something extraordinary needs to happen. People need to wake up. First, they need to know they can wake up. That it's possible, that there's something more for everyone. And it's knocking on the door. So, I don't know if that touches the point.
Yes, what came to mind was not so much I think, therefore I am, but I am, therefore I think.
Exactly. You were before you started thinking. It wasn't your thinking that made you be something. You already were. You already were a point of life. You already were a focus of life, looking out from those eyes. Then thoughts started to come. Then you left that focus of the life principle and you became the thinker. And then you thought you were what you thought. And because you were doubtful, or because you were fearful, or because you were unhappy, you had those kind of thoughts came up, spontaneously matching who you were being that you were and that life was. And then because that's who you were being, then that's how you started to turn up for yourself. Proving who you thought you were to be right. So then you go, I'm definitely that then.
What a plonker.
Yeah, but everybody's been in that position. And then that's not the end of the story. We can see that that's what happens. That our unhappiness and our sense of not being good enough and that deeper sense of like I'm missing out on something, and that deeper sense of there's a thirst that needs to be quenched, that nothing that happens, that no set of circumstances really have touched. I must address that. And then as soon as we actually acknowledge there is a thirst to know, then what will quench it in a perfect form will appear in our life synchronistically. And this is grace, this is compassion, this is when life really starts to take off. So we need to identify that when it comes and accept it wholeheartedly and dive in and watch what happens. So wonderful. So wonderful.
Awesome.